is Kadeen and I'm from Arise magazine, and today we have a very special guest, JayEss. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's good. So before we get started, are you able to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, my stage name is JayEss. I'm a rapper, well known in the gospel industry. Been doing it for a few years now, so yeah.
Okay. So when did you first start rapping?
Oh Lord. First started rapping, say in the 90s, probably like 98, 99. Yeah. I was playing around with it with my brothers. We used to have like instrumentals that we would buy from Woolworths. These were the days where you could buy like singles from Woolworths, you know, and then we'll go back home and then we'll freestyle over that. And then one day my sister was like, you know, why don't you write down your lyrics? So, oh, that's a great idea, you know. So we started writing down our lyrics, and that's where the rapping started.
Okay. So what do you like most about being a gospel rapper?
Oh Lord, a gospel and the secular is totally different in terms of the style that I was doing. When I was in the secular world, my raps were more comical and it was more of like a battle rap kind of vibe. When I got into the gospel scene, my music was more meaningful and it was more impactful in terms of like touching people and, you know, having purpose basically.
Okay, that's great. So as an established Christian rapper, what are the main struggles when trying to be a positive, especially when you are ministering?
I'm trying to be positive.
Yeah.
I think it's the public perception that when you are on stage and you're a Christian rapper, it's like, you know, you're perfect and you're without fault. And I think people don't do it on purpose, but they do it subconsciously. So if you have to be very careful about what you put out there on social media and how you conduct yourself in public, because people hold you to a higher standard, which could be very it could be very like stressful in terms of like pressure, because you're not allowed to really be yourself in public. But obviously behind closed doors you can, because God accepts you, you know, for how you are. But in terms of in the public, in front of others, you can't do certain things because people are going to be looking at you with a magnifying glass. So those are the struggles that I see.
Okay. So, for young people who are aspiring to be a Christian rapper like yourself, what advice would you give them when they're seeking the Lord?
You know, for anyone who wants to become a rapper and have a Christian message to it, first of all, I say you have to be good at it, because when you're rapping as a Christian, basically, you know, everyone is scrutinizing your work because it's not secular. So it's like, okay, you need to come with something that is really good if I'm gonna, you know, not listen to like, you know, a Tiny Temper. I want to listen to you. You have to come with something, you know, special. So I would say, you know, make sure you work on your craft. Number two, you have to have a personal relationship, you know, with God. That's most important. And also you have to know your word. So know what you're communicating to the public, and you have to be relatable. So sometimes we get lost in, you know, throwing scriptures out there, you know, in our lyrics, and general public don't really know what we're talking about because they've never heard the gospel before. So we have to be very clever in how we communicate the message.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to us a bit about your song, Intoxicated, and the background of the whole concept.
Okay, well, Intoxicated was birthed a few years ago. It was produced by TP. And TP is well known in the scene for making like various hits. But he pitched that song to me, Deborah and Triple O. And, you know, we were just freestyling over the beat, and then, you know, we got the concept of being filled with the Spirit. And so we were together in the studio coming up with different ideas, and then the song got left on the bench. I'll say it got left on the bench for a couple of years. And then whilst I was in Nigeria, obviously being in Nigeria, you know, when NEPA takes light, you have nothing else to do but to be creative. So basically NEPA is an electricity company that randomly takes light. So that's what happened in Nigeria. So then obviously I had to, like, you know, make myself, you know, busy. So I started writing lyrics for the Intoxicated beat, and then I asked Deborah. I said, look, you know, Deborah, you want to jump back on this beat because the chorus that you had was really good, but let's polish it up. And so she polished up the chorus, and then, you know, we got into the studio, and then the rest is history.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so tell us a bit about your album, your new album.
Yeah, I'm working on a new album. It's going to be my second album. Been working on it for a while now, and it should be ready for a summer release, but we haven't got a date at the moment. But this album is totally different to the Genesis Snapshots album that I released in 2010. This album has got a lot more life music to it, so it's got a lot of theme music to people's everyday life, and people can relate to certain songs on the album. Also, there's a lot of collaborations that I did in terms of artists singing on the chorus. I wanted it to be a lot more colourful than the Genesis Snapshots album, because the Genesis Snapshots album had a lot of theology in it, and this album I wanted to connect with the people as opposed to, you know, giving them like scripture and, you know, theology. So that was the approach for this album. So.
Have you got a title for the album that
we
can look out for?
We haven't got a title yet. However, when that happens, then we'll let the general public know.
Okay. Okay. So, what's your favorite song on the album?
My favorite song.
Why?
My favorite song on the album is a song called "Forgive Me." Reason why this is my favorite song is because it really digs deep into the heart of people being betrayed and being hurt, whether it be, and I really wanted to focus on females that have been hurt by males in the past, if it be like their ex-boyfriend or their father, you know. So I really wanted to dig deep into the subject of forgiveness. So, you know, I dived into that, and hopefully through that song people will be able to be healed and get a different perspective on why certain things happened to them in the past. And I also came at it from a standpoint that I was also, like, you know, I've been hurt also, so I know what it feels like. So I'm not just, you know, preaching at you and saying, oh yeah, forgive this person because they've done wrong to you. No, I've also been hurt in the past, and I had to take it upon myself to forgive that individual, or else it's going to burn me for the rest of my life. So that song is really close to my heart, and that's why it's my favorite.
Okay, that's great. Our theme this month is preparation. So, how has God prepared you to become a rapper?
Okay, this is the uncut version,
Okay.
right? God, I believe, obviously, God was preparing me back in the 90s when I was listening. You know, I got first introduced to rap through listening to LL Cool J, and then after that, when I heard Biggie, then, you know, the rest is history. Biggie really made me like enjoy rap. He came with a different approach. So I used to always try and mimic Biggie's style, but it was so hard to copy. So I would just appreciate it. And so growing up, I was listening to like Jadakiss, Jay-Z, Nas, Tupac. And then once I started trying to rap, you know, over these instrumentals, then that's where I could kind of see that I had something. It was really, really whack back then, but I could see that, okay, if I was to keep doing this, then I can get somewhere with it. And I think it's once I started writing lyrics down and pushing myself, what I used to do is I used to battle rappers, not like, you know, in person, but I would listen to lyrics, like let's say like I listen to like an Eminem lyric or a Big Pun lyric, and I'll have to write a lyric that is as good as theirs or better. It'll never be better, but at least I was pushing myself. and that's what I used to do to get better and better. And so when I became a Christian, it was only right that, you know, I used that gift for God. But when I became a Christian, I didn't want to rap no more. I was like, you know, forget this, I don't want to rap, I just want to do something else, leave rap alone. Plus, what am I going to say? I mean, I come from a world of like battle rap, so what am I going to say? Oh yeah, talk about Jesus, you know. It was a limited subject matter in my head, but then I found that I had to really research, I had to really read the Bible, and then through that, you know, my skills were able to, you know, display the word.
Okay, so how would you say, how can others prepare themselves for God's calling?
I don't think you can prepare yourself. I think it's a part of life, it's a part of life's journey. You just have to, I think it's wherever your passion is. Wherever your passion is, then that's your calling, you know. Your gifting is something that you're good at and you do it effortlessly. So yeah, I don't think you can really prepare yourself. I think once you clock that this is your calling, then you can start, all right, cool, let's start working on this craft, let's start, you know, researching and reading up and let me become better in this field. Once you know, really know that God has called you in this direction. But if you don't know, then I mean, what are you going to do? You're just going to carry on with life, isn't it? Yeah, so that's what I would say to that question.
Okay. So how is it important for young people of today to prepare themselves when taking their ministry further? Depending
on what the ministry is, like for example, if you're like, I'm in music, so I mean, I can talk about music. So if you want to do music and you want to take it further, you need to do all the things that relates to the music industry. Like you can't delve away from it. You have to like work on branding, image. You have to work on your craft. You have to work on, you know, your performance, your communication, your public relations, your social media, everything. You have to make sure you have a brand and you're communicating with your public in a positive way and you're impacting people at the same time. So that's how you can, you know, prepare for that.
Okay. So what would you say God is currently preparing you to do next?
My album. Yeah. My album, yeah, basically that's it. This is my album. I'm working on that because it's been a long time coming. I haven't released an album in 5 years, but I've released mixtapes in between, like 2 mixtapes, Good Friday and Walking by Faith, which were very sick.
So how did that come about, you and Dizzy Rascal?
Well, we were friends and we grew up in the same area, so we were friends. So when I started off with like making, you know, mixtapes at home, you know, he would come over also and he would jump on the mic and, you know, we'll get busy on the mic. But yeah, we're from the same area, went to the same school and everything, so that's how we know each other. But everyone else in the area, like, you know, Wiley, we went to the same school, so Tichy Strider, I know him from the area, so everyone's doing well in the music. Like, Bow is a little area, it's not a borough. Like it's in Tower Hamlets, but it's a little area, but there's so much talent in Bow. I'm not sure if it's the water, but there's a lot of talent in Bow, and so yeah, we all grew up together. We went to the same youth club, you know, we all used to MC together, so we're very like, we know each other.
Oh, that's amazing. So as a closing note, what advice would you give to young people aspiring to be rappers or Christian?
I'd say be yourself. Don't try and copy anybody else. You're better at, you know, you'll be a better rapper if you are yourself. If you write lyrics from your heart. If you don't try and think, oh, what do the people, you know, want? Like, no, what is true to you? So write that, and even with your style and how you deliver it, it has to be, you know, 100% you. And so that's what I'll say to young people.
Well, I would like to thank you on behalf of Arise Magazine.
All right.
And spending your time.
Thank you.
Questioning you a bit.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate it. All right. My name is JayEss, and if you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and it's JayEss Online. That's JayEss online. Peace.